This weekend, we're gonna find out how many books I can read if I'm reading for 24 hours straight. 24-hour readathon is back. This video is sponsored by Parade. More on them later. Let's talk TBR. Because I'm gonna be reading for 24 hours, I feel like I'm gonna get burnt out, so I have some tricks up my sleeve. The first is thrillers. I think reading things that are fast-paced, that are twisty and turny, that I'm gonna wanna figure out what comes next, are gonna be good for when I'm feeling a little slumpy. Then, when my eyeballs need a break from reading words, I have pictures to look at. I have so many adorable graphic novels that I really wanna read, and some of you guys have sent these to me, so I really wanna prioritize them so I can read the things that you want me to read as well. And when I'm really in that final stretch and I am struggling to continue reading, we have the new release from T. Kingfisher. This is my favorite author. This is What Peace at Night. It is the sequel to What Moves the Dead. This is The Fall of the House of Usher retelling by Edgar Allan Poe, the short story. And that's like a fully contained story in here, so I'm so curious to see what happens in book 2. I've been saving this for this video. It has been so difficult. I just want to read this book so badly, so we will be completing this as well. The way that we're structuring this is different than I've ever done a 24-hour readathon before. Usually I either just try to see how many books I can read if I'm prioritizing reading during a 24-hour period, or I've tried to stay up for 24 hours before. That went interestingly. But this time I'm going to try to see how many books I can read with 24 hours of full reading. So it's currently Friday night at about 5 p.m. I just finished work. I'm going to try to read for about 3 or 4 hours tonight. We're gonna try to do 10 hours each on Saturday and Sunday, and we'll wrap everything up on Monday. In order to make sure I'm not isolating myself in my house for 4 days straight, we are going to try to enlist other people for reading sprints. Last bit of housekeeping we need to get out of the way. I will be listening to audiobooks so that we can cram as much reading as possible into all of our day-to-day activities. So if we're cooking, if we're cleaning, if we're walking the dog, we will be reading. Speaking of, Sally needs to go for a walk, so we need to pick our first book. And I think it is going to be The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. I have this on audio and I also have the physical book. It's currently drizzling a little bit outside. I want to get his walk in before it gets too bad, so we'll put our rain boots on, start this on audio, and then we'll go sit on the couch and read. Okay, we're a little over 3 hours in. I am pretty much exactly halfway through The Paris Apartment. Let me catch you up on what's been going on here. So our main character is meeting her brother at his apartment in Paris. He's not there, and she sort of like finds her way into the apartment, starts talking to the people who live there, and it's very clear that something's happened to her brother. She's trying to figure out what's happened. She like doesn't really want to be involved with the police. She doesn't really speak French. And it feels like everyone's got something to hide in this apartment building. And we've just had a reveal in which we found out that these people are all connected in some way. And that is very interesting. And I'm very curious to see what's going on. If it's the other people in the apartment building who've done something to her brother, if something else has happened to him. He's like a journalist, so it's possible that there's like some connection with that. I don't know. I'm interested to see what's going on, but I'm not like hooked. Like I'm not like flipping the pages so fast to figure out what's going on. It's a bit of a slow burn. I am interested to see what's happening next, but I'm not like desperate to see what's happening next. I'm probably gonna keep reading for like half an hour, and then I'll see you guys tomorrow morning where we will finish this. Welcome to day 2. We have just completed our first book, and oh boy did I not see the twists and turns coming at the end of this. I think I'm gonna end out of 4-star for our rating. I thought it was really fast-paced. I thought it was a really good thriller. I, however, did not love the obsession of one of our characters with food, and just like the comments about her body was just a lot for me personally. I really did enjoy uncovering all of the things that all the people in this building are wrapped up in, and what our main character's brother was doing there, and I definitely did not guess the twists at the end, and I had a really good time being surprised and entertained. Now we need to pick a new book, but before we do, I want to tell you guys about the sponsor of today's video, which is Parade. This video is sponsored by Parade, and I am so excited to talk to you guys about it because I absolutely love these bras and underwear. They are so comfortable and so cute. So let me show you what I got. This is the Betsey Johnson Vintage Rosette Triangle Bralette, and it is the softest material that I have ever put on my body. And we have these adorable matching undies as well. I have always been a person who's bought cotton underwear, and I never thought that I would branch out into non-cotton underwear, but this is truthfully the softest thing that I have ever put on my body. This is their new cotton fabric. It's a sustainable cotton alternative. It's moisture wicking and it's incredibly soft. I think the cut and the print of these pieces is incredibly flattering and so cute. I absolutely love how I can have a matching set. It makes me feel so put together. I've personally found it very difficult to find bras and underwear that fit me, and I absolutely love the shopping experience on Parade's website because their bralette sizing is so inclusive. In addition to having the regular sizes, you can also go up and down cup sizes in those. So if you need a little bit extra room, you can find that. I do have a discount code for you. This exact collection, the code does not apply for, but I do have some really similar pieces that I think you guys are gonna love in the same fabric. My code is KatieReads40 and it'll get you 40% off the entire site. My link and code are in the description, so if you're looking for some new bras and underwear, I highly recommend checking out Parade. Thanks so much to Parade for sponsoring this video. Back onto the readathon. I think the combination of the rainy, gloomy vibes outside and the fact that we just did a thriller, I think we need a palette cleanser. I think we need something cozy and comforting. So I think we're gonna read Lightfall, a little cozy graphic novel. I'm feeling sleepy this morning. I'm feeling sleepy. We are 6 hours in, so we are, what is that, a fourth of the way done? Yeah, 6 times 4 is 24. So we're a quarter of the way in and I'm feeling sleepy. So I think this is what we need. Shay sent me this, and Shay also sent me the House Witch in the same package, and I really did not like the House Witch, so I would really like to redeem myself in Shay's eyes so that we can still be friends. I'm going to read this lovely little graphic novel that she sent me. I'm gonna read you the back of this because it sounds so freaking cute. Deep in the heart of Urpa stands the Salty Pigs Tonics and Tinctures, home of the wise pig wizard and his adopted granddaughter Bee. As keepers of the endless flame, they live a quiet and peaceful life, crafting medicines and potions for the people of their once prosperous world. All that changes when Bee meets Cad, a member of the Galdurians, a race thought to be long extinct. Cad believes that if anyone can help him find his missing people, it's the pig wizard. But when the two arrive home, the pig wizard is nowhere to be found. Fearing for the pig wizard's safety, Bee and Cad set out across Urpa to find him, while danger fights its way out of the shadows and into the light. Can this reluctant duo get their act together in time to save the world, or has Urpa truly seen its last sunrise? Look at how cute they look! Let's go curl up on the couch and read this. My friend Trista is on her way with bagels. This is gonna be such a good day. Just finished reading Lightfall. This is 5 stars. I'm so excited to read the rest of this series. This is the cutest thing, most comforting thing that I have ever read. Like, new favorite graphic novel. I'm so happy about this. I absolutely love our two main characters' dynamic because Bee is very anxious. She's very worried about things. And Cad, the Galdurian, is just very like happy-go-lucky, not a care in the world, very silly little adventurer, and I love their dynamic so much. It's like Black Cat, Golden Retriever type vibes. I also really love the art style and like the way that the art is telling a story as well in here. It's so sophisticated the way that the use of color in here works. So let me show you something. So when Bee is feeling anxious and she's like kind of having a panic attack, the background goes dark, and then as she gets more and more feels better, it gets lighter again. I also love how the cat played a role in this. It was so, so sweet. The cat was like basically having its own little story in the background. So when we were in the shop with her grandfather, the cat was like yelling for its breakfast in the background, and it was trying to steal scrambled eggs off the plate, and that was just so cute and sweet to watch. And then the cat came with them on the adventure, which I loved because I was so worried that we were gonna have to leave the cat behind when they went on this adventure, and they took the cat with them, which I thought was really, really nice because I used to have a cat who would come on walks with me and come on little adventures with me, and it just reminded me of those really happy memories. So I absolutely loved this. This was exactly what I needed. I don't know how I'm going to be able to stop myself from going and purchasing the rest of this series because I want to read more. I just want to be back in this world. I don't want to leave it. But we do need to pick another book. I think I want to grab another audiobook, maybe a little longer book, so we can kind of get stuck back into it. Maybe I'll read The Perfect Marriage because Trace's coming over and she was the one who recommended that I read that. Yeah, I feel good about that. That's what we're gonna do. Good morning. We are behind on our goal. I was hoping we would be closer to the 12-hour mark by this point, but that's okay. We can still read for a good chunk of time today. My goal for today is to get to 18 hours. I want to read for about 8 hours today, and then tomorrow we can wrap up with a good 6 hours of reading. And if we need to push it into Tuesday, we can do that as well. Let me update you on what I'm reading because it's not what I told you I was reading. I asked Trace if I should read The Perfect Marriage or The Silent Patient, and she said I should read The Silent Patient. So that's what we're reading. I got about halfway through it yesterday, and I have theories as to what's going on. I have so many theories. I know this is wildly popular, and I feel like anytime a book is this popular, I'm convinced that I'm not gonna like it. I don't know, I'm an Aquarius, I have to be anti. Every time someone loves a book like they love this, I feel like I'm not going to like it. And I will say, I do hate every single character in this, but I don't need to like any of the characters to like the book. I am incredibly curious as to what the twist is because everybody freaks out about the twist in this. And it just feels very straightforward right now because we have the silent patient, Alicia. She supposedly shot her husband and then has never spoken a word since. She's in this psychiatric hospital. And we have this guy who's convinced he's gonna fix her, and he like wants to be her psychotherapist, and he's gonna convince her to speak. We're getting to see like her diary entries. We're also getting to see like glimpses into like the psychotherapist's life and his relationship with his wife, and then also like all the other people who are related in some way to Alicia. The psychotherapist dude, what's his name? Theo, I hate him. He sucks so much. The things that he says make me want to roll my eyes so much, and I'm so glad that Shrey was with me all day yesterday because I just kept reading things and going, ugh, and then like telling her, this guy sucks, he's so annoying. Just the way that he talks about like Alicia and how he's just like so obsessed with her, and everything with him and his wife is wild, and I just don't like him. His theories about people and the universe and the way that we like exist, I don't know, he just sucks. I'm really excited to get to the twist. I have some theories because it feels so cut and dry that it feels like there's gotta be like something more. Like I feel like someone's lying to me. And I don't know what's going on, but I am incredibly curious to find out what the twist is. It's a beautiful day outside, so let's go sit outside and finish reading this. I will take you with me so you can see my reaction to the twist. I have this much left to read. The rest of this is an interview. Some things have happened. I'm assuming we're about to get to the twist. I don't think we've gotten to the twist yet. I have a cup of tea. Let's finish this. What? Why are we, what? Hang on. Hang on, I have a theory. I'm on page 303, and I have a theory. That's gotta be what it is, right? Yeah, obviously. Okay, well, I called it a page before it happened. I don't think I can call that calling it, but that was wild. I'm calling my friend.
Hello?
I just finished The Silent Patient.
Did you scream?
What?
Did you see that coming?
I called it a page before it happened, but I don't think I can really call that calling it.
You called it the page before. Did you not like reread it over and over again? Like I was literally like flabbergasted.
Yeah, the page before was like, oh, obviously he's...
And was that crazy?
Absolutely wild. I can't tell if I enjoyed it or if I hated it.
I think it's like a bit of both. It's like because like you hate him as a character, but
yeah,
you got a bit to keep you guessing on a twist for like 250 pages, almost 300 pages is pretty impressive.
I feel like a thriller has to entertain me and it has to surprise me. This did both of those things. I did not like the ending. I liked the twist. I'm kind of surprised that I didn't see it coming. People have been talking about this twist so much that I thought it had to be something that was absolutely wild. And I feel like thrillers do get absolutely crazy and over the top, and I do love an over the top thriller. But this was like, it makes a lot of sense for the story that's being told. Like, I feel like I should have guessed it, but I was guessing things that were too crazy. Anyways, I'm gonna land at like a 3 on this because I did enjoy it, but any book that I'm like rolling my eyes at this much, I don't think I can give any higher than 3 stars. But it was entertaining and I was surprised. I just really didn't like the ending, and obviously I didn't like any of the characters in here, but like I said, I don't need to like them in order to like the book. I think it made sense for who they all are. That's The Silent Patient. I am exhausted. I want to take a nap so badly, but we do not have time to nap. We need to read. I think I need something cozy and comforting. I think maybe we'll do another graphic novel. Let's go sit on the couch and read another graphic novel and have a little palate cleanser, and then we'll pick our next big boy book. I'm feeling slumpy. I think we have to break out the big guns. I don't think a graphic novel is gonna cut it. I think it's time for What Feasts at Night. I think this is what I need right now. I have to show you guys the end papers on this because they are stunning. Like, look how absolutely gorgeous all of this is. It's so pretty. I have absolutely no clue what's going on in this book. I don't know, I'm assuming our main character is the same, but that's pretty much everything that I do know. So let's dive into this and find out together. Okay, I've just finished reading What Feasts at Night. It is obviously much later than the last time I spoke to you. Hang on, let me pause this. We are almost exactly 15 hours in. I am so sleepy right now. We had to pause our reading to sort out some family stuff, so we are once again behind, but that's okay because this was lovely. I adore T. Kingfisher's writing, obviously. She's my favorite author. And I think that I definitely prefer her longer horror because I wanted to stay in the horror of this longer. Most of this book was build-up. And then I feel like with her short horror, we just like dip our toes into it and then it's done. And I want to stay in the horror for longer. Like, I wish that this was twice as long and we got to understand this moth creature situation for longer, and then we were in the scary stuff for longer. I will say, a book about a creepy person who sits on your chest and steals your breath while you sleep, not the best thing to read before you go to sleep. So hopefully this doesn't keep me up tonight because I am exhausted. Overall, I think I'm gonna put this at like a 3.5. I'm gonna keep reading this novella series, but I I really hope that T. Kingfisher puts out a longer horror soon, because I love the twisted ones and I love the hollow places, and I want more of her longer horror. I didn't read the synopsis beforehand, so let me explain to you what is even going on in here. I apologize, my brain is mush right now. We are following our same main character from book 1 who dealt with the mushroom situation. They are a sworn soldier for this fictional country. I love Easton, I love hearing about them, I love being in their head. Our mycologist from book 1 is back in this too, and I loved that she was there. We got to know some other characters. The horse was there. I love all of T. Kingfisher's world building. I think it's done really, really well. I just, again, wish that there had been more spookiness in here. So the spookiness is this lovely moth creature situation, and the moth turns into a woman who sits on your chest and steals your breath. And a lot of the scariness happened in dreams, and I'm not super excited to dream tonight. I also have been reading some audiobook while we sorted some stuff out that needed to be sorted out. So I am this far into more horror. I decided to stay on the horror train. I think that's what I needed. I was kind of sick of thrillers after reading 2 this weekend, and I don't think I have the brain power to read anything with my eyeballs anymore. So I do have the audiobook of this, and that is, I think, what I'm going to be reading for the rest of tonight. We've got a little under 10 hours left to read, so I think we can finish this and something else. I'm going to stop talking to you so I can continue reading. But before we sign off for the night, let me tell you about Mary. So our main character is a middle-aged woman who is going through perimenopause. And in addition to having all of the menopause symptoms of the hot flashes and the dizziness and all of the lovely things that come with being a woman, she is also, every time she witnesses, she sees her face in a mirror, or anytime she sees another woman of her age, she sees their faces decomposing, and she keeps having flashbacks to this house where a lot of people were killed, and she's filled with uncontrollable rage, and she's having a lot of these violent tendencies, wanting to do violent things, hearing hearing voices telling her to do horrible things. I'm so interested to read this. I love this cover. This is, with the hand coming out of the tub, one of the most stunning horror covers ever. And I know that Nat Cassidy has written another book, I think it's called Nestlings, I'll put it here. Since this is their debut, but I'm just really interested to see what this book has in store. So far it's going well. Mary has come to stay with her great aunt, who is horrible, is just yelling at her all day long because she's dying, I guess, and she needs someone to take care of her. And so our main character Mary has gone there, and she is having all of these violent tendencies, and the doctors are not taking her seriously. I think that's something that I'm really loving about this, is every single time something happens, she tries to go to the doctor and is like, hey, something's wrong with me, please help me. And they're like, you're just a silly woman. This is perimenopause. It's so natural. Just don't worry about it. And as someone who has been to doctors and gaslit by doctors before, I'm not enjoying seeing that take place, but I feel a little vindicated watching it take place. And I'm hoping that as Mary descends into madness and this gets more and more absurd, that hopefully the doctors will have to pay attention. Okay, I'm a very sleepy girl. I'm going to put this audiobook on and get ready for bed, and we'll read as long as I can without falling asleep, and we'll wake up bright and early and do more reading tomorrow, and we'll wrap this all up. It's day 4. We are almost 20 hours in. We are at 19 hours and 35 minutes. I am 70% of the way through Mary, and oh boy, is this unhinged. I'm really, really liking it. This is the exact opposite of what I was experiencing with What Feasts at Night. This has horror all the way through it, and I think that's what I prefer in horror. I do love a gothic slow build, but I want the book to be long enough that we're in the horror for enough time. And I feel with Mary, we're really from the beginning, horrifying things are happening, and we're staying in the horror for much longer, even though it is taking a long time to kind of understand why everything is happening. Sully wants to say hi. Hi, baby. Yes, you're a very good boy. Since Sully's here, we have to close his ears. There is a dog death in this that is horrifying. Like, it's very, very bad. I think if you're a person who likes doggies, I would proceed with caution because a dog does die in a very horrific way. I think this is probably the most horrific dog death that I have seen in a book, but I tend to avoid books that have animal death. So now you know that. I'm gonna eat dinner and feed the puppy while we listen to the audiobook, and then I wanna switch to print for the last bits of this because I feel like we might have some reveals and I want to read them with my eyeballs so that you can see my reactions. I am so burnt out of reading. I don't want to do it anymore. I have 4.5 hours left and I don't want to read anymore. I really don't. This being a little unhinged is helping, but I think we're gonna have to pick something really unhinged for the last book. Otherwise, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to keep paying attention. Pausing the timer at 21 hours and 27 minutes. We have finished our 5th book of this readathon. I can't believe I've already read 5 things. I think I'm gonna give this 4.5 stars. I was debating whether or not to give it 5 because I did really, really enjoy it, but I think ultimately it's not one of my favorite horror books of all time. And I think I've really just been in a slump with horror recently, and this was really, really good, but I don't think it's quite 5 stars. I really enjoyed the afterword in here as well. The author is talking about whether or not it's his right or his place as a cis man to write a story about menopause. It's kind of hard to have that conversation without spoiling the book, but I will say that I really appreciated that afterword being in there and the things that he had to say about that. Usually when I'm doing a readathon like this, and what I've been doing the previous days, is that I can keep reading. I will put the audiobook on while I eat. I could not do that with this book because it was disgusting, and you saw me reading. I was gonna remove my dinner from my stomach. I was having a rough time, and I'm not usually a squeamish person when it comes to horror, but this was gross. It got slashery. I really loved it. There was a bit of a true crime angle in here as well, and commentary on what true crime gets right and wrong, and how true crime can desensitize you, and also how we can think that we have everything figured out and we really don't know what's going on. There's a little bit of a multimedia aspect with that. I really just loved everything about this. I think it's just not quite 5 stars. It is a long book, and although having the horror happen kind of all the way through this did help with that, it felt, I don't know if it's just because I'm doing a 24-hour readathon, but I really felt by the end of it that I maybe couldn't enjoy it or take my time with it as much as I wanted to towards the end, because I was just like, oh my god, I've been in this for so long and I need out. I need to pet a fluffy cat or something. Like, it was a lot. I will be terrified of mirrors for the next little bit, but this was fantastic. We have, how much time do we have? What did I say? 21 hours and 30 minutes? Basically, we have 2.5 hours left of this readathon, which is not enough to complete a full-length book, but is also too much time to just do a graphic novel. Okay, I'm gonna go do some research, and then we'll see you when I have selected our final book. I have put out a request on my Instagram story to see if you guys have any recommendations for a romance or a cozy something that's really short that I could read, but while I'm waiting for those results to come in, I thought we could just read a Heartstopper. This is volume 5, and volume 4 was quite hard-hitting, and I was worried that this would be a little bit more. But from what people have said, I think this is a little bit more cozy comforting. The back says Nick and Charlie are in love, and it's got a university road trip itinerary. So I am excited about this. Let's have a cozy and comforting time. Our lovely little high school couple here is grappling with some big issues, but nothing as serious as the last book. This was definitely a lot more lighthearted. They are thinking about taking their relationship to the next level physically, and they're also figuring out what they want to do for college. So Nick is a year older than Charlie, and he's trying to figure out where he wants to go to college. I love how high school these are in such a genuine way. Like the way that they're having these conversations are exactly the way that I was having those conversations with like my high school relationship and trying to figure out where I wanted to go to college. And I remember some people in my life did follow their significant other to college. I don't know, it's just so interesting to look back on that time now being so far removed from it and see it depicted in here in such an accurate way of how like tough those conversations are, especially when you are in like a loving relationship where you both support each other, but it's still really difficult to do long distance. Dan and I were just having this conversation the other day about long distance, and he's in sales and that requires a lot of traveling, and long distance is really, really hard for me. And we were just kind of like talking about how we would navigate those things. And obviously the way that we're having those conversations is different from the way that high schoolers are having those conversations, but it was just interesting to kind of get a similar situation coming out of this book. And I'm excited for the final installment in volume 6. I feel like most romances, they end when the couple gets together, but I like that we get to see them through high school because this is when it's tougher. Like if a relationship is going to last, most of the relationship is not the falling in love. It's the being in love and the tough conversations and the working through things together and the bumps in the road and the really tender moments that you have in between. And I'm just glad that this little series has captured that feeling so accurately. Okay, let's see what you guys recommended on Instagram, if anyone had any recommendations. Someone recommended Kimberly Lemming. She was the one who wrote That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. And I remember, I think I started reading that audiobook, and I don't think it was for me, so I don't think that's what I'm going to be selecting. I found something. We're reading Fina. It's a science fiction audiobook, I think takes place kind of in an IKEA and includes portals to other worlds. We haven't read sci-fi yet this readathon, and it's 2 hours long at 1.5 times speed, which is perfect because we have just under 2 hours left to go in this readathon. Okay, starting our final book of the readathon. We did it! We have officially been reading for 24 hours and 4 minutes, 13 seconds. I am so tired. My brain is mush. I put the audiobook on 1.5 times speed because that was enough time to like take me to the finish line. And then I ended up having to put it on 1.8 times speed, which was actually, I think, better for my brain because I think it was too slow for me to understand. Anyways, I had to keep going back and rereading parts of this because my brain is mush. It is currently midnight and I don't have any brain left to give you. Fina was good. I liked it a lot. I think there is a world in which I reread this and I give it 5 stars, but I think right now I'm gonna give it 4. There's just too many things in my brain. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to do this book such a disservice. What's happening is we're following our main character and her ex-partner. They've just broken up and they go on this journey. They work at this IKEA type situation and this wormhole opens up and somebody's grandma walks through it, gets lost in this wormhole, and then they have to like go find the grandma and they use this like machine thing, and it's like part of company policies. They have to go sit and watch this like employee training where they're learning about this wormholes, and it's very dark and very funny, and I did have a really good time with it. I liked the journey that we went on. It was a nice short, I think the length was exactly what it needed to be. It looks like there might be a second book, which I definitely would read. I think I'd have to reread the first one though, because like I said, my brain is mashed potatoes. I cannot believe that we read for 24 hours, but we did. We finished 7 books. I do not understand how we read 7 books. I was trying to predict how many books I would read in 24 hours. And my upper limit guess was 5. I mean, we did read 2 short books with What Feasts at Night and Fina, and then we also read 2 graphic novels. But still, we read 3 full-length novels plus 4 other things. Like, that's still a lot of text to get through. I'm exhausted. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate you being here. This was very fun. This is definitely, I think, somehow the most difficult form of 24-hour readathon. I was under the impression that this would be easier than staying up all night, but truthfully, I think staying up all night is easier because we read so many things and my brain is so tired. I will see you all next week. I think we're gonna slow the pace down. I think we're gonna try to do a cozy spring reset and just have some mundanity because I think that's what I need after the craziness that was the past 4 days. Thank you again to Parade for sponsoring this video. If you guys want to check them out, I have the link and my code, which is KatieReads40 in the description. You can head on over there to get 40% off their entire site. Hook yourself up with some fun undies and bras. I am going to go to sleep. If you're new here, I would love for you to stick around for some more chaos. I would love for you to subscribe and join our little community, and I will see you all next week.